style. You ain't know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. You don't even know my pain. You can't even match my style. You don't even know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, 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 yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually am a big grudge holder, and it's not like a weight that's on my spirit. It's just that once you cross me in a particular way, like I'll throw you in the sea of forgetfulness. Like I don't know you. I'm not gonna say you're unalive to me, but
But
I just
basically, you want to lie.
yeah, I just don't care about your life anymore. But I'm not mad at you. I just don't fuck with you.
I don't know
And
if that's a grudge though.
In some sense, I think it is.
Yeah,
That's a strong tie to you never coming back over here.
Right.
I feel like grudge, you got to kind of be I think it feel like a grudge requires energy. You see what I'm saying? Like I gotta purposely stay mad now. Like
I would say grudge. I think a grudge just needs acknowledgement. The fact that I see this person and the first thing I think of, I don't fuck with you.
That's in the ingredient.
Yeah, I think it's more so that for me, because it doesn't take any energy for me not to care about you. It's just as soon as I see you in my mind, ooh, fuck that bitch or nigga. And that's it.
That's energy though.
Is it?
Yeah. If you have to go out your way to say that, then that's energy. You giving it something.
Well, not go out of your way though. They're saying like even if it comes across my plate, right?
Okay,
it's not really. I ain't going out of my way to like not fuck with this person. However, if I run into him at the grocery store or anything, it ain't kiki kaka. It ain't even a pleasurable. Hey, how you doing? Like it ain't even nothing. It ain't nothing like that. It's like I never knew you in my life.
Yeah,
I can stand with Rachel on that. I'd have done that.
Man.
No, I mean definitely got some cutoffs. So like there's some cutoffs for sure. But I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that'll ever change for y'all, or you think you're too deep into it? That's just kind of because obviously here's the important thing. Here's the important thing. Y'all not just doing it just to do it. Obviously, these people, somebody has done something ill or foul to y'all to the point where you know what? I don't even want your energy around me anymore. It's best for me to just act like I never knew you.
You know what? I had to really think when we was like going over this topic. I don't even think that I've had, like, I understand the energy that Rachel was talking about, but I don't even really think I've had that scenario situation. Like, I want to ask
you about the wreck to Kentucky Kingdom or whatever.
Ah, okay.
I want to ask you about that. We can get into that.
That okay. We can get into that one.
I know you said it took you a while to even accept responsibility for that.
It did. It took a long time. It took a lot of maturing. But that's still that one too. It wasn't really a reconciliation moment either, because like he wasn't never upset with me. He was looking at it like shit, as y'all say, like Lou gonna be Lou. So it was really just a moment of that was my friend anyway, and we never fell out of friendship. It's just we didn't, like y'all said, fuck with each other. However, once we, of course, we run in the same friend groups, doing some of the same things as far as just being outside. So we needed each other in some senses of the word. So it wasn't never a really reconciliation moment, more so than a moment for me just realizing that I was being immature about it. Now, it took a long time for me to be like, oh, that was my fault. Versus I did recognize earlier that I'm being immature. Like, my nigga gonna be around anyway. Like, we gonna be cool with like eventually at some point, but to be adult enough to be like, nah, all of that was my fault. Like,
all right, so let me add,
responsibility.
I know we got to get into the intro and all that, but I got a quick question for both of y'all because that made me think of something. Do either one of y'all or either one of you good at apologizing?
I may not be good at it, but I don't hesitate to do it. I'll quick to tell them if a motherfucker tell me, hey, you made me feel this. I really like to respect people's feelings. So I may not be great at it. It may not come off as, hey, man, I really felt that apology from you, but I will acknowledge, okay, I didn't mean to do that. Like, if that's how you coming off and that's how it makes you feel, I'm sorry. I apologize. Because I'm sensitive. So I would want somebody to handle me the same way.
In all honesty, full transparency, it depends on our relationship. Because how do you know that I too don't feel slighted? Is there a mutual apology happening? Or am I just throwing myself at your feet for some shit that one, I really probably don't feel that sorry for. And two, was it warranted? Is this a ending? Like, what's happening here?
I call that the bit.
Of course.
I was say I call that the Bishop and Juice that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that's a great. Yeah, that's great. That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
right
nigga,
there.
we good, nigga. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, all right, man. As you guys have heard, this is another week in the books. We got guests here this week, man. It's going down. It's going to be a great episode. Shout out to Mo for putting this together.
Yes,
I'm going to make some introductions, and I'm going to let these people tell you where they're from, what they do, and why they're great. And we're going to get into the conversation of the week, man, which is reconciliation and a couple of current events that I think will spark some good conversation as well. I'll start with you, Miss Rachel. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm glad to have you here. My guy, Rich is in the building. Rich, how you feeling?
Doing all right, man. Hey, listen, let me just say this right now. I got my two favorite podcasters on the same podcast and I'm recording with. I tell Rachel all the time she's my favorite podcaster. It's like I told you, you number two. Mo, you top 100, I swear.
Top 100. Hey, man, look, it's all right, man. I'll be on the sideline, man.
Nah, all joking aside, man.
No
favorite producer, man. Because all of this, Mo will tell you, man. I've been on the phone with Mo, man, for about 45 minutes to an hour, just trying to pick his brain, trying to get my producing game up. I mean, for real, everything you do, all these shows that come together, put so much into it, man. So I'm excited to be here and have this conversation with y'all.
Great job. And as Rich mentioned, my man Mo, super producer, co-host of this thing. We keep it rolling. Mo, how you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Y'all ain't had Fridays this good since Fridays was this good. Seriously. And I'm glad to be back. Why?
Absolutely. Rich, Rachel, tell us a little bit about, what y'all do over at Culture Garden and how y'all got into this space, and we'll get into some current events before we do reconciliation.
Okay.
Rachel, you want to get into it?
Okay, sure. Rich and I co-host along with Rich's Breslin School.
Shout out to school, man.
Shout out to school.
Shout out to school for sure.
I rock with school too, man.
Yeah, shout out to school.
We have the Culture Garden podcast, which is a podcast giving its flowers to all of our actors in mostly Black movies, but we do sprinkle a little other things in for a little razzle dazzle. And then we also, Rich and I, co-host the We Got Y'all podcast, which started off as an homage to season 5 of Insecure, and that is our television feed. So check us out over there.
Speaking of, We Got Y'all.
Hey,
rap shit's coming next month. You know what I mean?
Saw that new preview not preview, but they now
the trailer
started back up. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we will be doing rap shit next month over at We Got Y'all. So we looking forward to that as well.
And you guys just did CB4 on Culture Guard, right? Commend you guys for that.
Boy,
I hate that movie.
I
hate.
And I gotta listen to him because I'm not gonna watch the movie, but I gotta listen to him. So I'm listening to him tomorrow.
Bro, I hate that movie, bro.
I think it ties.
I'm not a Chris Rock fan.
That's what I was going. That was going to tie into a later thing I want to bring up. But what I want to say before we really get into it, we talk about flowers. Give flowers to both of them. I've already, I always acknowledge Rich and how much I appreciate him. But Ray P, I've been listening to y'all. I came across y'all and We Got Y'all, and y'all were one of the very few podcasts that I was looking for a man and a woman's perspective, especially on a show like that. Y'all remember when the wave of what is it, Team Issa or was it Team? I can't even remember.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Like that was a big wave, and it wasn't a whole lot of podcasts with like both perspectives. And so I like the way both y'all handled the opposite sex energy. I like that the way Rich was. He had a certain kind of sensitivity without just being overly masculine. I felt that you had a little bit of like a strength along with the vulnerability where you might side with the nigga sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I like y'all balance where I was like, y'all kind of really have a perfect harmony. So I became a fan from that point. And I never revealed this to Rich, but this is gonna blow your mind here. When I created my show role, the audio drama series, I had 2 people in mind for a role. And when I came across your podcast, you were one of the people that I was going to reach out to.
Oh shit.
I got the shirt on. I got the shirt on today. So we talk about shirts. So
that's dope, man.
So
that's
live. Yeah. So I had actually, and you Rich too. So I had.
You mean Rachel?
No, both y'all. Like
okay.
So the original thing, we'll move on, but the original thing that I had was I was gonna have her to play Robin, and there was another woman on another podcast. The reason I never reached out is because when I came to your page, it was private.
I tell y'all.
Yeah,
I know. Rachel's friend request is Bane's prison, y'all. I'm telling you, man, that shit is hard to get out of.
Boy, so when I see that, I was like, all right, never mind. I'm gonna let it marinate, bro. And so it's just a funny thing how everything.
Did you request her or you just said
I may have. I may on my personal.
Oh, he's still sitting in the request box, right?
Might have a connection. Might be. They got to be a mutual friend.
Might be. But nonetheless, just to put a bow on what I'm saying is like when I heard y'all voices, y'all, I immediately seen some of my characters come to life. I seen like with you, Rich, like a Wayne. I seen it come to life. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I heard her. I heard Robin. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I had that in mind at one point when I was going to create spinoffs, but just wanted to put that out there. So I respect what y'all do. I am a fan of you, and you know, you are a star, as Rich puts it. So, you know.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, I rock with y'all. I really listen to y'all. Yeah.
Real quick, and we get rolling into it, man. I definitely appreciate that. Those are incredible words, man. Yeah. Sincerely, thank you for that. Obviously, you know how I feel about Roll, man. I've been asking when the new season coming for a minute. I know the format is going to be a little different, so we'll get into that. But just want to touch on one thing with Ray P. I appreciate the fact that you said our chemistry, just because, like, that's my dog. Like, you feel me? That's why I've known her for 18 years. Like, I always tell people, man, the best people I know in my life are Black women. And she's one of those people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Black women are the backbone. I know this is a conversation. Yeah, always, man. Always. Ain't never even got to worry about it.
Facts.
Like, even this small shit. I'll tell you a quick little story. Small shit. I remember being at the SZA concert, right? The merch line was crazy. I was trying to get some merch. Shit, I wore a SZA shirt on Good Earnings last week, matter of fact. The merch line was crazy. Trying to cut, you know what I'm saying? Just do some smooth talk shit. There's 2 niggas right there. Hey, man, let me slide into you. Da-da-da-da. Nah, man, I don't, da-da-da. Couple Black women right behind. Hey, you cool if I slide you 25 and you good? Come on. Like, completely cool, man. Black women so dope.
Yeah, come on,
and
man.
Ray my dog, man. So that chemistry is always there. So
yeah.
Told you, my favorite podcaster.
Oh my God, Mo, I'm about to cry. I love you. Send me the Instagram thing, and I'll see if I can. I'll just add you myself.
Okay. I got access. I got access. Thank you.
Yeah, you rolling.
I'm rolling.
All right, man. As we mentioned before, this is another week in the books, man. The purpose of this podcast, so Black men more comfortable having conversations that they usually don't. Me and Mo opened the door to make sure that you guys out there having these same conversations with the people that you love, the Black men in your life. Current events. We got a couple things this week, couple things we're jumping off the meter in the zeitgeist. One was Mikey Williams. I know Mo didn't bring this to the table, so I want to talk to you, Rich. Mikey Williams was a recent, not recent, he was a high school phenom. Very, very popular in high school. Went through some troubles and had to go to Eastern Michigan, I want to say, right?
No. That's Imani Bates.
That's Imani Bates. Okay, so that's not.
Yeah, he's in the league now. Mikey Williams is, and we don't really even have to cover this one because I know we got a lot of other things we want to get to today, but it is an interesting topic. I think that's actually a conversation that could be had on another chapter, just about our responsibility to the youth and making sure we proper OGs out here. Just a quick background without getting to the full story. Mikey Williams was probably like one of those later Instagram basketball stars, like that first wave of them. Not the mixtape unit, as you remember, people like Austin Rivers and Ben Simmons. Right. I'm talking about like Instagram, and they have all these followers. Mikey was the first high school athlete to sign a shoe deal with Puma. and super talented. Supposed to be a freshman right now at the University of Memphis. He's actually enrolled, supposed to be playing with Penny. He caught a gun charge. He's facing 28 years. And he's incredibly talented, NBA talented, but he's sitting in the wings of the judge in the court. And I always wonder, how does somebody like that get there? You know, we always hear about the hood always protect the stars. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the ones he gonna make it. He got something to do.
They used to. I feel like it's a new generation though, and that's a good conversation to have too, Rich. The influence that you should have as an OG. That's definitely a good conversation.
That shouldn't happen, man. There's no reason why he should be in that position right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know how much of that is him trying to be tough. I know people said it. You guys had a Ja Morant conversation some chapters back. I don't know how much of that is, but I think that's something to dive into in its own chapter. Have a further conversation about. But I know there's a couple other current events that we had posted.
That's
I like that.
Gilly was talking to.
Yep.
In the clips that have been online. Okay.
Him and Yall was talking to him. Yep. Not funny, but Mason Cam covered this as well. And they were talking about
it ain't funny, like you said, but
it's not funny, but it shows where we are with the generation pretty much. In his Instagram quote, Mikey Williams quoted Rollo. Rollo is now locked up on trafficking charges for weed. So Mason Cam was kind of making fun of him picking that person to quote, facing 28 years. And Mace said, and I quote, "Oh, he going to jail."
That's the quote.
But again, that's the quote, and that's on Mace. That's not how we feel over here at Another Week in the Books, but we did want to address it, man. Other things happen out here. We all as content creators, this is something that I feel like that we all could get into. This is my next topic here. It had to do with an interview put on by Funny Marco. Y'all familiar with Funny Marco, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all, everybody familiar.
Yeah.
I want to, this interview style that Funny Marco does, are y'all familiar with Between Two Ferns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it originated at. Okay. Go ahead.
Zach Galifianakis from Hangover.
From Hangover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen some clips of that, but like, yeah, Funny Marco, you know, yeah, he barbecuing him though.
Well, maybe. I think you should look at Between Two Ferns a little bit, like, because he got some heat on there.
Nah, he got some heat. I see some clips, yeah.
But what I will say is, Zach, this is pretty much where this interview style originated.
Yeah.
Like that type of awkward, you know, making the guests feel awkward. So even with Zach, he had people like Brad Pitt, Barack was on there, Matthew McConaughey, there was all the big stars. Going in, they know what type of interview this is going to be. Like, it's not a surprise to them, right? So with Funny Marco having this style, Southside and G Herbo, Southside the producer, G Herbo the rapper, they did Funny Marco's interview, whose style is similar to Zach's in Between Two Ferns. It's awkward, says crazy stuff. G Herbo and Southside were getting a lot of backlash because of how they treated Funny Marco. At one point, G Herbo threw a cup at him. They were really excluding him from the conversations. They were talking real greasy to him. Some people were saying they were out of line. My opinion is that they were matching the energy of what they thought they was going to receive from Funny Marco, because that's how he usually does his interviews. They just took it a little too far. My question to you guys as content creators is, what do you guys think about their actions on his show? Was it too much? Was it in line with what he usually does? And did it make everything awkward? Do you agree with it? Everything above? Who wants first stab at it? Rachel, ready? Rachel, ready. Let's go, Rachel.
Let's go.
First off, I know who G Herbo is, but I don't even really know who Southside is for you to even get this interview. So there's that.
Southside like that though. He's a
producer.
He's a very popular producer.
Oh, okay.
Who's his baby mama? Is it the?
Oh, that's Carich's.
Yeah, that's Carich's baby.
Oh, okay, see, I still don't know who that is, but okay.
She's at the right place. Yes. we in the same age group. That's what that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
How old are you again, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 36.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm 36. The whole one, I don't really like. I liked Between Two Ferns because I like Zach Galifianakis. But I don't like that awkward energy because it's weird and it doesn't always translate well. And I think that you have to have a particular skill for it to really work. That's the first thing. The second, I felt like it was extra from the clips that I've seen, because if you're coming to my show, yes, I'm anticipating maybe some awkward conversation. You maybe low-key shitting on me just a little bit. I think you could give him that, but I think that they saw Offset do Bobby Antonoff's show, again, something I don't care about.
Yeah, another spinoff.
And wanted to have that sort of viral moment and wanted people to be like, oh yeah, they did Funny Marco how Offset did Homegirl. And so I think that they took it a little too far. Like, he said that they broke his $30,000 watch. Like, why are you doing all of that? We're sitting here. My antics don't do none of that. I might make you uncomfortable. It might be awkward, but I'm not damaging property. I'm not in the lowest of keys assaulting you. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? After the fact, he said he basically was uncomfortable, and I don't know enough about Funny Marco. Are you a nigga's nigga? Are you a hood nigga's hood nigga? Like, I don't know. It felt like maybe not. And so again, here's all this extra aggression, dare I say, for some niggas that ain't really my kind of niggas anyway. And now I have to do this, and content over everything. I have to put this out, even though, did you really? So I can control the narrative, but yeah, I didn't love it. It was very weird to me. Like, y'all ain't low-key.
You hit on a couple key things there.
Yeah.
One of the most important things I think you hit on, Ray P, was like there's different variations of niggas, man. So their understanding of what we're doing here versus Marco's understanding of what we're doing here 100%. Was probably a lot different. And 100%. That's where you get the awkward interaction. Mo, what say you?
I was gonna let it brew. Cause you know I get on my soapbox and you know I get passionate.
I want to hear it. That's what this for. That's what this topic was for. Your soapbox. Pull it out.
All right. So
speak.
So oh man, as Ray will say, compelling content, right? So
COE.
Yeah. So me and my wife been watching this.
Disagreement here.
Yeah, so we've been watching it, like but we've been watching like some of his stuff. It's been some really good ones, like Orlando Brown, Duval, Michael Blackson. We've watched quite a few of them. Like, we're getting good laughs because he just reminds you like a class clown. They just be doing the most. Like, but he's actually a smart dude, because I believe that it does take a certain intelligence to be funny. Like, I don't think you can just, you know what I mean? I mean, there's the Carlos Millers, that hood funny where you just naturally, but for the most part, creative way of navigating towards the joke, you have to have certain kind of intelligence. With this situation,
hey, why you gonna do Carlos like that though? Like, why he ain't got no intelligence with his?
No, Carlos is intelligent. I just don't think his humor is. I don't think his humor is. That's all. Yeah, that's it. But I like Carlos Miller. Like, I love Carlos, man. I would kick it with Carlos. I would kick it with Carlos. He nails it. Like the Black Experience, he nails it. I just don't think that it's intention. It has a lot of intentionalness to it when he's presenting it. But that's my opinion. I could be wrong. But when I seen this, we actually watched the whole build up, and things was going pretty cool. My problem with this situation is pre-production, bro. Pre-production. First and foremost, when people come to the show, do they know what this is? We have conversations before we air. Yeah. That's my problem. So if you're trying to create content over everything and trying to have this certain level of authenticity, so I'm not going to let you in on the loop. I'm just going to make sure you good, you cool. This is kind of what it is, but I'm not going to give you the whole thing. Then you get this type of behavior. If you loop them in, because I imagine he had the baby on there, and we had the baby on there, you know, it looked like, you know, the baby, he got that look like, I don't know how he about to act, but the whole thing went smooth. He did the awkward stuff the whole time, and the baby at moment, he was joking with him, like making pictures and all kind of stuff, but the baby handled it well. Hood nigga murder, you know what I mean? We know the baby. So I don't know how much of pre-production was put into this, but what bothers me the most about the whole situation is it's like, I'm tired of like us being in the media, and it's always like, it's like this. It's like blacks we can't be great, bro. We got to have this like dirtball hood nigga. Like, I just don't like when we in the light like that, bro. Like, I don't even think he should have had him up there, to be honest. Like, you're not the type of dude I'm gonna have on. Like, I'm gonna be all the way real. When I seen all them tats on your face, that is a telling thing for me. Period. Because if a person is tatted up like that, I don't know how much you care about life. So you dang sure don't care about me, bro.
I'm probably scared of you.
I told that. I am scared.
That's wild, Mo.
I am scared.
That's wild. A lot of that was wild.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Well, think about it.
I mean, in my opinion, just even to address the tats on the face, he's a famous producer. Like, he has plenty of money. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm not going to do business or deal with him because he got tattoos on his face. He ain't got to go clock in corporate America. You know what I mean? He don't have the same things that we have to do. And two, G Herbo, I follow. I'm pretty familiar with his personality. I'm not so much Southside, but I'm pretty sure that they understand how this show works. I think they just overdid it. But with that being said, overdoing it got Bernie Marco like that video had 1 million views in 3 days.
Yeah,
that's what he do.
That was crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. People are talking about him now. People who've never watched the Funny Marco interview, they're gonna go watch it because you had the guy with the tattoos on his face and G Herbo. Of course, they went a little overboard, but and nowadays, content over everything, like that's what he was looking for. That's why he put it out. So I'm not really sure that I agree with you in the sense of I wouldn't even deal with those dudes because I cast them as street niggas and I'm not a street nigga.
That's where I'm not at that level of content creating because y'all got me fucked up. Like, wouldn't let that shit happen to me though. Like, we not throwing cups.
Couldn't be me though.
Yeah, we're not throwing cups. We're not calling niggas out their names. We're not doing none of that. I don't know y'all like that. I don't play like that. Like, that's the first thing I thought the first thing I thought was I don't know how much of this is supposed to be happening. You know, I don't know how much Marco is in on the joke. I know it's his show, but it seems like they're going a little bit overboard and they talking to him a little crazy. And I think it got to a point where he was, anytime a nigga shrinks, like, you got it. You know, you ain't gonna have me shrinking on my own show.
Oh, I definitely shrink.
Be in the chair,
yeah.
Nah, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
I just think
it was definitely OD. It was definitely OD, man. And it was just I guess the main thing is, what's the purpose? Like, I don't care about this. Like, I don't. That does nothing for me.
I think if you ask Southside and G Herbo, they would think that they did a good job because again, I think that they different niggas from him. And in pre-production, as you mentioned, Mo, it was probably said, "Hey man, have fun with this. Y'all know how I do my interviews." And I just think that they went a little overboard. I don't think they went so overboard to the sense of, well, we got to be like, damn, I'm embarrassed by this. It's a black person, or they shouldn't have them on the show. I don't think that there was that much overboard. But I do think the Funny Marco was not expecting, because he's not that type of nigga, them to do that much. And I can't blame him or them for that. I think it was just good content.
Bro, the white dude that does this version of this,
Zach Galifianakis. Yes.
Somebody tried to put their hands on him or start embarrassing and going crazy, getting physical with him.
Brad Pitt spit on him.
Fake.
I think it was CGI though.
Yeah,
I think it was CGI.
Like, okay.
They got real pissed off on Between Two Ferns too. Like, white people do this. This ain't a black
but did
thing.
anybody take it there though?
Yeah, it was some people that were mad for real.
They got physical with him.
What?
Slapping property off
physical,
of him. Slapping property off of him. Throwing things at them.
An empty cup. Again, some niggas play like that.
But
I don't.
That's my problem.
I don't play
I'm
like
running
that.
a business, bro.
Yeah, but you telling me
I'm running. This is what I be hating. I'm
like, telling me that this business is set up this type of way, right? My interpretation of that as a different nigga from you is like, oh, okay, we can do this, we can do that. And yeah, it may have went too far, but I don't think that they were trying. I don't think that they were purposely trying to disrespect him. I'll say that.
Bro, I
think they were in the parameters of what he told them.
Southside was cool until G Herbo came.
Mm-hmm.
That's
when
another
G Herbo
thing,
came, Southside just
he
just turned up with him like, oh, okay, my guy here. Let's just get to it. But he was cool up until that. I get it, whatever. Maybe it was all a part of the shuck. Maybe it's all a rollout. We always talk about that. My problem is just, I'm tired of us getting hot off of something that's not really cool. I'm sick of that. We getting hot off of like horror culture. Like we getting hot off of, I'm just tired of us getting hot off of like things that are not actually dope. That's my problem, bro. That's my problem. Like I'm gonna keep. That's why I don't rock with a lot of rap now. That's why I don't rock with a lot of things. It's like we say this is dope. Why? How's this benefiting us? Why is this cool?
Content. It's compelling.
What's all right, man? Like compelling.
Well, just because you don't like it, Mo, don't mean it ain't compelling, bro.
What's dope
like
about
it? Just
it?
not be to the taste of it. It's content over everything. Like this is what people are doing nowadays. I'm not saying that I am a big fan of it, but if 1 million people watch it in 3 days, something is right about it. Or at least in this society, something is beneficial from it. I won't say right. Right is the wrong word. But somebody getting something from it, 1 million views in 3 days, like he probably would go through that again just because, I mean, that's the type of time niggas be on nowadays. We just seen a nigga shoot up. Well, we just seen a nigga put a tripod up at Target and bag himself into a car and check out in a video scene. We just seen a bitch eat 37 oysters and put that content up. We just seen a girl that wouldn't get out of the car from Cheesecake Factory. This is what people do nowadays. So if Funny Marco can do this and get 1 million views and get paid from it, what's the issue with it?
I think all of those people are insane.
I agree with you there too, Rachel. I can be on both sides here. Those people are insane. I agree with you 100%.
I had to look up how old Southside was. Like mid-interview, I was like, how old is this?
He like 30 years old, right?
He's 34.
30 years.
Okay, I knew he wasn't too much. I was like, he probably somewhere between 28 and I knew he wasn't too much. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
You sound like get off my lawn.
Who, me? I'm definitely get off my lawn. I'm definitely get off my lawn. I'm embracing. I am embracing my grumpy old manism. Like I'm embracing it because I'm like, I'm not about. I can't fake it, bro. Like, oh man, I think the new everything is dope. I think some stuff is dope, but I'm that guy and I don't care.
You the youngest one here.
I'm gonna ask a question, and I got to step away for a second to go grab some food from Uber Eats. But I'm still listening. I got my headphones on. I'm gonna ask a question for you, Mo, and I leave it to the room for you guys to discuss. Right. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
But as the content creator, how do you feel like that you can be successful if that's the attitude that you have, if that's what everybody is doing to be successful with it? And
okay.
I'm not walking away. I'm listening.
Yeah, go do your thing. I just think that when we talk about success, it's like you got to be willing to be flexible and you got to have some level of compromise. But I don't think that you necessarily compromise your foundation in which you were brought up and who you are, your character. I'm just not willing to compromise my character for a bag. Like y'all, anybody can listen. Anybody that's listened to Another Week in the Books, you already know how I give it up when it comes to money. Like y'all, you're not gonna move me with a dollar amount. I'm gonna start looking like a clown. I'm gonna start doing goofy stuff. If I never had it, I can't miss it. So I ain't tripping about it. Like that's me. Time is more valuable than anything. And the time that I have here is what I care about the most. So for me, when you talk about success, it's about having a good product and staying consistent. And when the stars align, hoping that it lands in the right hands or the right ears or the right eyes to see and say, hey, I can get behind this and I'm willing to fund this and so on and so forth. So for me, it's about a good product, a great product, to be honest, and consistency. That's what I look at. I get what he's doing by any means. That's y'all rap, whatever. That's what y'all doing. Do it. But I ain't with it. What
would be Brown?
That means having integrity.
Yes.
And I think that is, I mean, we can talk about standing on business. That's the thing right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't have it. And to your point about money not moving you, money moves so many, you know what I'm saying? And this is so crazy, and praise this. Quavo says something to Chloe like, I don't deal with desperate people because you will do anything. And I think that's what we're seeing so much in society is a bunch of people so desperate to go viral, so desperate for fame, so desperate for money that you will just do any and everything and accept any and everything just for the sake of that dollar. And why?
Man.
Integrity, your source, what you stand on, it matters. And a lot of people are not solid in their foundation and just want to have what's next. They just want that fame. So it's like, whatever. I'll let you disrespect me. I'll disrespect you and myself. We got 1 million views though. That shit's lit.
Yeah, that part.
That's wild.
It's sad.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Rich, man.
No, I was going to say, I agree 100%. That's just what it is. That's where we are with it. Mo, you have a very I was thinking about Brown Sugar, man. Ren and 10 versus Cav and Dre.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just as
Yeah,
far
that's
as that
me, yeah.
integrity. Like, I don't want to be the person that's selling out or doing something that I'm not even truly in love with just for the sake of fame, popularity, or getting my shit off the ground. I don't know, man. Is there a middle ground? Is there that compromise, like you say, as far as, you know what? I know the content is good. I know it's pure. Like, is it that J. Cole? What's the single? You know, I know the Let Nas Down song, but the Workout. Is it the J. Cole Workout? Yeah. You know, Hov said, what Hov say, man, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got Rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win.
That's the win-win.
No, you know what I mean? That's the win-win. So if I gotta do some shit that I'm not comfortable with just to make it to this point, because I know once I get there, it's up. It's up. Yeah. Am I willing to sacrifice a little bit of my character to get to that point and then revert back to who I am? Or is it too late? Once you do it, are people going to expect that from you?
Okay, so then that's the question, Rich. All right. You know what? I almost feel like Ray should set up the question because you know him better than I do. But like, you know his character, right? And let's just put it in a way where it's like, okay, there's a little change in Rich's movement, right? I can't come up with it yet, but you know him a little longer, so maybe you can kind of fit something that if they were asking, okay, we like what y'all doing at Culture Guarding. Rich, we see that you're kind of leading in that podcast, but we need you to do something specifically, and we're going to offer you this type of deal for your podcast. I don't know what it would be that could be like. It's not a whole 180, but it's a slight variant from what Rich is comfortable with doing. What would that thing be, you think?
Ooh, I don't know, because he's such a solid, I don't want to say middle of the road, but like, if you know him, you know him. And that's really it. He's not a beat around the bush. He's not going to give you something else. You've grown and evolved over these 18 years, but the Rich that I met at 18 Crossings is the same character-wise that I know right now. So I want to say you're not going to let that slide. I don't know. I don't. Ooh.
Okay, what if they tell you got to be clean? Like, you got to be clean.
What you mean clean?
Clean.
Oh, like don't cuss?
Like blue.
Yeah.
You're like blue.
They say, hey, we love your show and everything, but we're trying to pitch towards the family. We think Culture Garden would be great, but you guys' language is it's just too out of there. We need you to clean it up. We want to make sure we can play it on radio if we need to play clips.
I would try it if it meant that the show was still the show. Like, I'm not above trying it, but if it don't feel right, it ain't right. That's the one thing about We Got Y'all about Culture Garden. We are ourselves. We're really giving our opinions on these movies. It feels like, we in the living room talking about it, or we playing one of them card games on game night and just having, a trivia night or some shit. Like, that's part of it. So there's part of me that always thinks that what's meant for me is always going to be meant for me. What's meant for us is meant for us. So it's not, I don't have to necessarily compromise. Like, the product, if you're interested in it, then you're not the only one. Yeah. So I'm going to get one of these motherfuckers that let me cuss. And we're going to run a bag up.
That's all I'm saying. So all of this in the difference. Go ahead.
The difference is, this is what Funny Marco does. They just happen to overdo it in this particular instance. I get what you're saying about changing and chasing the bag and everything ain't about 1 million views. I heard that, Rach. Like, I get that. I totally understand that. I just think in this specific scenario, and the bigger issue is people just wanting to be PC culture all online with social media and police everything and have an opinion on everything that they don't know a lot about. With Funny Marco's scenario, bro, this is what he does. They just happen to overdo it. They just happen to be some niggas that came in and they overdid it. It was a little bit too much, my nigga. Y'all doing too much. Unfortunately, Funny Marco ain't the type of nigga that could tell them that. Like, he didn't feel comfortable telling them, hey, bro, like, hey, you doing a lot, my nigga. Like, yeah, I know what I told y'all, but throwing cups and fucking up watch, like, that ain't what we here for. I know I told y'all to be funny. See, Funny Marco just didn't have that type of authority in that room, and that was the problem. I don't think that he sold out. I don't think that he's doing this just for the views. I do authentically think that this is him. I just think that these dudes, they was just doing a little too much. Maybe they was drunk. maybe they had a misconception of who he was and how he was able to fire back at them. But I just think that they did too much. And the misconception amongst social media and people out there is like, oh, they were disrespectful. They were trying to be degrading to him. Oh, I don't think that was the case. I think that they want to see him successful. Otherwise, they wouldn't agree to do an interview. It's hard to book interviews in this business. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. It's hard to get people to agree to, hey, man, I'm going to sit down and talk to you for 35, 45 minutes. So for them to even say, even though Funny Marco is popular, I'm going to sit here and do this interview with you. It's a lot of niggas that can't get Southside and G Herbo interviews. I feel like they agreed to it because they knew what he did. They just overdid it.
I agree. I mean,
everything was cool other than you ain't gonna talk to me like that, bro.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm thinking about it right now. I just real quick. I guess this is probably the last thing I'll say about it. I do think it's very important if you are in this space, man. You control your show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, even I'll use School as an example. School just launched his podcast, man. Shout out to him. School's Guilty Pleasures. You know, and I'm all about empowerment, man. It's bigger than me. I'm all about empowerment. Rachel will tell you that. Like, I'm always cheering for Rachel. Go. Like, do your thing. Like, you were a star. Grow, do everything you need to, spread your wings. But I had a conversation with him, and I was, we were setting up the first episode and talking about scheduling and time, and I'm like, School, like, this is your shit, bro. Like, you tell me what to do. You know what I mean? You control this. And anybody else who comes in, obviously, you give them the proper respect to let them know what's going on, what the format is. Give them dates. Don't pop up on last minute with shit. But also, nobody's going to tell you how to run your show, including me, including anybody. I said, so I think that's a real important thing. Because if you know you're not that type of nigga, because you got it, all right, it goes a long list of ways. If you don't know what type of nigga Southside and G Herbo are, that means you ain't doing your homework. Which means you're probably failing at your show, which we know he's not failing at his show. If you know you're not that type of nigga to stand up if things did get out of hand with them, then you need to have somebody on set who will. Or really make this a firm thing. Or you can do like he did. And this show helps me with that, man. Another Week in the Books helped me with this, looking at things from other people's perspective. I'm so quick to say, y'all got me fucked up, without thinking, like, I'm not like Marco. So what do I expect for him? How do I expect for him to react? Just like he did. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not saying nothing. I just want this to be over and not get physically abused.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this to go too far left. That's probably what he was thinking. So I got to give him a little grace because he's not like that.
He's just like a hood dude.
He got to be able to be.
Yeah, he's like a hood dude that was like a class clown. That's how he come off to me. Like, he's just that hood dude you had in your class that you like. This dude funny, but he actually passing though in the class.
He used to do this with bums on the street before he started booking guests. Yeah, like he used to do this with people like just randomly bums, like just people that were outside. I think
calling people outside bums is crazy.
Nah, they were for real deal bums.
That's I thought these were regular people. Like, I've seen them do regular people.
Oh,
he had bum
I ain't
bums.
doing no Joe Budden shit. No, bums like for real deal,
real
like
bums. Okay,
Atlanta homeless people.
Okay.
That's how he got his start. Like, people, he would go viral from
I didn't know that.
talking to homeless people. Yeah, he would go viral from talking to homeless people. That's why he dressed like that. He dressed like a bum, man. Then go talk to like bums and stuff like that, and they like would do crazy stuff, and he would be at like with them as he is in the interview. One of the most important things I think you said, Rich, there, and what I would like to, if I could give a word of advice to any content creator that is listening to this, is you're right. You control your show. Like, if you can't do it, then have somebody there that can. But that's the most important part. It don't matter if it's like Dame Dash, or it don't matter if it's G Herbo and Southside, like whoever you're talking to, set the standard for what you're looking for and then go from there. They disrespect that, then cut the interview or whatever it may be. But in all my years of doing this, that's probably the best piece of advice that I've heard and that I would live by. Like, you control this. Like, so if you're talking to an interviewer, do pre-production, make them understand what this is. And let's not go too far, my nigga. Like,
straight up. I didn't, just real quick before we move on, I didn't know that's how we started. That's one of my that's one of my pet peeves, man. Littering is a big one. And people were talking to the unhoused in any fashion, whether you're recording, giving them food or money, whether you just, I don't know what the interviews were about for context. So I don't know what it was. I don't want to be too harsh, but
no, you're right.
Yeah, like for what? I hate that. Just get somebody on the street and be disrespectful. I don't know. That's just I'm about to have a Mo soapbox moment.
He was definitely talking to the underprivileged and like doing the most. He was doing okay. full circle moment, he was doing what G Herbo and Southside were doing to him to homeless people.
Ooh,
Well, in the dirt, you get dirty.
That's how it was.
Better be good for the gander.
Right, exactly. That now I'm glad that you said that. If you go back and look at some of his old videos, that's exactly what he was giving with the people that he was talking to before he got famous. So
Play in the dirt, you get dirty.
Full circle. That's how it happens. All right, man. Next in the zeitgeist, what we do to feed the timeline and let people know that we're up on current events. Mo, we are revisiting Jada Pinkett Shakur. Excuse me, Smith.
Yo,
I'm sorry.
Look at it. That's a podcaster right there, boy. He been doing this a long time, boy. Been in this thing for a while.
Oh, that's funny. We're reviewing, recontextualizing, as Mo said in the notes here, man, the Oscar slap with Chris Rock and Will. After the new information that we've gotten over the last couple of weeks, man, if y'all ain't been paying attention, Jada been wilding.
Yeah,
she's trying to sell that book. She's selling that book, bro.
She is selling it.
Mo,
yeah.
What made you come up with this and just give me your lead in on it?
Shouts out to the Mallory Bros. I'm an avid listener to them. They have my humor. I talk about them all the time on here, but they also do like reaction videos and stuff. But like they twins, they have a really great podcast. I really enjoyed. They were talking about it and it spawned. I said, you know what? I want to get in on that conversation because they were reading, I don't know, I think an excerpt from her book saying that Will and Jada had been, pretty much like separated since like 2016. And so I guess there was some point where Chris Rock had pursued her, like trying to ask her out on a date. And she was like, kind of like, what do you mean? And he was like, oh, I thought you and Will were getting a divorce. And so, later on they decided that they were going to stay married, even though they were going to do their own thing. So then everything kind of changes with the August Alsina thing. When we look at it now, everything changes with the Red Table Talk. When we look at it now, and everything changes with the Oscar slap. When we look at it now, what we thought fat meat wasn't greasy, in the words of Spike Lee. So now we find out differently. So I said, now the whole context of all of these events since 2016 changes everything. And I actually listened to the whole audiobook of Will's book, Will. And I think he even said that in there, at some point. I mean, I didn't make much of it. I didn't even trip about it because they always seemed like they was like a different.
He said what? What
I think he said that like Jada needed to go her own way to kind of figure out some things herself. And Will kind of had he had some issues kind of growing up as far as like how he watched his father put his hands on his mother and kind of how he felt like he couldn't protect her and kind of how he felt growing up and then even getting in relationships, how things may have happened with Willow and then as far as like wanting to protect her and then even Jada wanting to protect her. And so he had this consciousness of every woman that I have in my life, I can't protect them. So that context that even filled more of the Oscar slap for me. Cause now it made sense, like putting that book out, like kind of a little bit after, but it was already done. It made so much sense to me. So I wanted to see what y'all thought about knowing the fact that, okay, this is my wife, but we're not together. We're doing our own thing. And all of these events transpire. I wanted to see what y'all thoughts were on now looking at their relationship. As far as now, it's almost a friendship and how they're doing things differently in this era. And then also all of the actions that have occurred afterwards with that context. Whoever want to go for it, go for it.
Do all that shit anyway, man.
I will let anybody take this before me.
Well, I'll jump in. Ladies first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we learned recently that Chris Rock tried to holler at Jada amidst divorce rumors. He had tried to holler at her in the 90s and she turned him down. So this request in the middle of she and Will maybe or maybe not getting divorced, that was not his first attempt. He's been talking shit about her since the 90s. So whether we're together or not, she and Will essentially are best friends. They've been quote unquote swingers in the black rumor mill media.
Yeah.
It's forever. We all, as a child, quote unquote, we knew that they allegedly were swinging. Like that's been the rumor in Hollywood. So when she was with August, now I do have very serious thoughts on that because side eye, that's your child's friend. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Her being with somebody else was not a huge thing because the rumor has been that they swing. There was a whole IG page dedicated to Will and Margot Robbie. Is that who he was allegedly in love with?
Oh yeah, when they was filming
They doing
Focus,
Focus,
yeah. And Suicide Squad, yeah.
Oh,
they were
Damn, Will was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
because it was funny when we did our we did our Focus episode. Margot Robbie and her mom taught Will Smith how to swim.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
A white woman teaching a black man how to swim is nuts.
I said the same thing. I said the same exact thing, y'all. That shit just make me feel away.
That's crazy.
I think I specifically.
You can't have no wife and somebody teaching you how to swim though. Like your wife gotta be there. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like your wife gotta be there.
Come on,
It's crazy, bro.
When Will made his Instagram debut, this nigga was from sea to shining sea. He was all over the world doing whatever the fuck it was that he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's had the career. He's had everything. He's not denied himself any pleasure in this life, allegedly. Why?
Other than pleasing Jada.
Well, has he denied himself that, or does he have the inability to do that? Jada is a different kind of woman.
She is, yeah.
Are certain everybody ate for everybody. No matter how you want to swing it, every type of woman is not for every type of man. You just, I don't want to say ain't dicky enough, but that's what I feel in my spirit.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that? What's the term?
Can we get that again?
What's the term?
Ain't dicky enough?
Like Lil Dicky, the rapper?
Is that some Cincinnati shit? What is ain't dicky enough?
I'm from
mean?
Toledo.
Oh,
no,
okay,
dicky is like,
got you.
You throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier. Like, are you? Like, do you have that kind of swag? Do you have big dick energy? Like, are you that nigga? Can you do some shit that nigga can't do? Like, it's a difference. And when you have that, and when you don't have that, it's a different kind of woman that you with. And that's just is. Consider Willow wrote Tupac, who she never even fucking met. He was dead long before she came into this world. A letter like, I wish you were alive so my mom could be happy. Will and Jada been fucked up for forever. Like, this is some crazy shit. I wish you would leave us alone. Now, I do. But I'm not mad at her getting her truth out because I feel like Will has done some foul ass shit. And we have all of this vitriol towards her because it is annoying and it is like way disrespectful because even though we know about Margot Robbie and whomever else, he kept that shit low. She's publicized her outside affairs. She's publicized her desire or relationship with Pac, with whomever. Like, you're telling us versus people building stories and putting it together. And society hates free Black women. So there's all of that. But in the midst of all of this, Will is cheering her on. Yes, babe, get your truth out. You're my best friend. I love that for you. This is making you happy. That's what's up. You go, girl. Speak that shit. He's not mad. And when we look at that infamous red table scene with him, bloodshot eyes, I think that he was hurt. Again, if I get my lick back, you can't determine how I get my lick back. It is what it is. Again, what's good for the goose? Damn sure better be good for the gander.
She's fried.
I think it was because all of this is now public and will, despite whatever rumors, has had a pristine image. And now, because of your foolishness, my image is being tainted. Now I'm lightweight embarrassed by the foolishness, by the bullshit. The slap, even though we're not divorced or we're not married, we still share a life. You're still the mother of my children. I still love you very deeply, whether I'm in love with you or not. Motherfucker, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And I don't fuck with you, Chris Rock, anyway. You been trying to get my bitch, nigga, fuck you. And you ain't a nigga. I'll slap you again. Are you fucking crazy?
This is why she's here, y'all. This is why she's here. Trapaholics.
And now Chris is like, I want her to keep. What did he say recently? Like, I don't want to be talked about. I want her not to discuss me, this and the third. But you've been talking about Jada for 30 years.
Bro, you did a whole stand-up just recently.
Come on. Talking about the slap. Talking about your mama raised you better, did she? Because you let white people say
nigga.
I love this energy. Oh, yes. This is why you're here, Ray. This is exactly what I was talking about. That's what I
say, guys.
What else can you say outside of that? I ain't got nothing else to say.
Here's what I want to say though. That's because she covered all that. I want to take it a different angle. Some they were saying on the podcast I was listening to is kind of how like we know our 90s classic actors and actresses. You know, we got our Sanaa Lathans and our Omar Epps and our, one thing that they acknowledge
that's crazy. Those are the first two you led with, but go ahead.
What's wrong with that?
Who was the first one?
All the 90s actors, you just led with them too. It's cool though. Go ahead.
Who you led with?
I heard Omar
Sanaa Lathan, Omar Epps.
Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan.
What's wrong with that? All right. Hold on.
Both of them.
No,
them just being the first two that came to your head was just crazy.
What would first two come to your mind?
Also had their share of
Wesley Snipes would be number one for me.
Wesley Snipes. What about female?
90s actors? Wesley Snipes would be number one for me. Number two would be
actress.
I'm gonna be biased because I've been watching a show with her in this, but it's Lynn Whitfield.
Lynn Whitfield.
Yeah, I don't think if you want to watch it, I don't think Lynn Whitfield is just not. She's dope, but she's not a person that just comes to mind.
That's true.
All right, Rich. Before I keep going,
again, that's been on my mind.
Come two 90s actor and actress that come to mind immediately.
Denzel Angela.
Okay.
Angela.
Yeah. Angela Bassett.
Oh, Bassett. Angela Bassett.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I get
what you're saying. I think you're talking about that swing between 98 and 2002 when Morris Chestnut, Omar Epps, Nia Long, all of them were in the same
brothers era.
The brothers era. Yeah. All right. If you talk,
and then I kind of think of like Denzel. I don't put him in a time because he stayed hot for so long. I don't lock him into
the Bill Bellamy area. When Bill Bellamy was
how to be a player.
And now if I said Bill Bellamy first, that would have warranted like, bro, you said Bill Bellamy. That would have been
Bill Bellamy. Don't do Bill Bellamy like that though.
Nah, that's
like
my
guy.
It
was a source in the 90s. He was
my guy. Spike almost turned me off of him, but that's another conversation.
Remember that. What?
Man, because I was talking about his Drink Champs interview, because you was like, man, I don't like Bill Bellamy. He's just one of them dudes that like come off like, you know what I'm saying? Like he about to be deep and he don't really be saying nothing. And so when I listened to that Drink Champs, I was like, bro, I think I might be off of him. He just brought me back with an interview. I promise. He was like this close. I was like, man, I'm not listening to this dude, man. He ain't deep like that. Stop acting like you got the exclusive. Like anyway, but
that's funny too.
But what I wanted to say that they were having a conversation in regards to Will and Jada was like how we miss Jada being Jada as far as the actress. They were saying like it's like you just kind of threw that actress bag away. Like we knew you, like, all of them classic movies we talk about Jada and how we held her up, how black women held her up, and how black men held her up as far as how much we loved her, loved seeing her on screen. It's like you kind of lean more into the celebrity of Jada versus like the actress that we were into. And I kind of agree with it because it's like, I mean, she did the Hawthorne thing, and then it was like kind of like it was like a long break, which is fine. It's the industry. The industry's crazy. And then we came back with Girls Trip, and it was good to see her. But it's like I don't know why she kind of got away from that. I don't know. I kind of
She
do
was
miss
Will
her in
Smith's
that
wife.
regard. Huh?
She was Will Smith's wife. That's why she had to do it. She was.
But look at, I mean, y'all fans of J and B, look at them.
Hold
They
on,
each other's
hold on.
husband and wife.
What you say? What you say, Rachel?
You know how Hawthorne ended?
How did it end?
Allegedly. Because she was fucking Mark Anthony. Allegedly.
What's Hawthorne?
Is that 20? She was.
It was a show she was on.
Was that 2016?
TV show?
Yeah, TV show.
No, it was long before that. I think it came on Showtime. But yeah. Because
the most important
her sexual exploits were made public and it got messy.
So it's Mark Anthony, the dude who used to date J-Lo, right?
Yes. Her ex-husband.
He was on the show. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
For me, I think the most important part of this came out when I don't know if it was a resurface clip or it was something new that Will said, but he was talking about
resurface. That was resurface.
I put it
the
in
one
the chat.
Yeah,
absolutely. You put it in the chat. Somebody put it in the chat. As far as she couldn't love him until she was able to love herself, and for him to being able to acknowledge that and giving her the runway to go and do that, I think says a lot about Will Smith. A lot about him versus what people are trying to paint him as versus what people are trying to say that he has came short as or whatever it may be. I do think that him bringing that out, if that had been the beginning of her media campaign, I would have been a lot more understanding of it. Versus well, Tupac this and Will didn't do that. Like if it had came out that she was, I'm not happy with myself, so me being with Will Smith, that's not gonna help me out at all. Because like you said, Mo, he on the Instagram like skydiving in Paris, he jumping off the London bridges, like he doing everything that you would want to do as a person. And if you dealing with a woman who's not happy with herself, so anything that you do, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but Tupac would have did it better. Like that's crazy to think about, bro. That's hard. So I think I think that Will Smith did a really good job and is doing a really good job of handling this. Yeah. And I wouldn't think I wouldn't dismiss what Jada's saying as much if I had heard that first. Because I feel like what Will Smith is saying is like, bro, she don't really love herself. So of course she's going to come out and say these things in the meeting. Like, of course, all of these things are going to come out to make me look like a bad person because she doesn't really love herself. Mm-hmm. So how would she love a person like me who's doing all of these things, who sees this many successes? Like, how would she be okay with it? She ain't even okay with herself.
Bro.
And that's one of the things that, go ahead.
I was saying, literally, that's what I was talking about 2 episodes ago. Like, this is, and I want to ask y'all, like, y'all been in relationships, I'd imagine. So it's like, have y'all even tapped into that, the fact of that, where it's like, yo, bro, I got to figure out how to love myself because I don't even know how to give to you for real. I was going through the motions of what I thought it looked like, what I thought it was supposed to feel like. But now that I'm
in a relationship, so I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. But now that I'm here and I
really enjoy this.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm in it now.
I think a lot of men deal with that. A lot of men deal with, I'm going to go through the motions and I'm going to check the boxes of this is what a successful or happy husband/boyfriend looks like. Yeah. But a lot of men don't take a step back and ask themselves the question of what makes me happy?
Am I in it?
Like what is it about this, about her, about the whatever it is? What is it about this that makes me happy? And I think us as black men, we have that a lot more than maybe I don't talk to a lot of other people as far as other black men. But what I will say is a lot of times when I say I don't know a lot of happily married people is because they don't focus on, well, I need to make myself happy versus thinking that my wife is going to do it, versus thinking that my girl is going to do it.
For sure.
Like it starts with me. Rach, go ahead.
And take it a step further. If I see you so happy and I'm not happy with myself, people don't talk about it enough, but there is a jealousy there that comes. there is envy. Now I'm envious of the person that I'm supposed to love, the person that I'm partnered with is supposed to be enjoying all this dope shit with. Now I low-key hate you a little bit because I don't understand why this isn't filling the void. This isn't making me happy. This doesn't feel good. Yeah, that's a beautiful sunset. Who fucking cares? I'm miserable.
Yep. The vacation is nice, but damn, I ain't really happy because my bank account ain't where it need to be. Or yeah, these clothes that you bought me, they're cool and I look great, but I ain't really happy because this ain't really me. Like you're
Because I
100%
haven't
right,
felt
Rachel. Yeah,
like in
exactly.
15 years. You keep
Mhm.
getting roles for movies that's not stellar. Ain't nobody called me in 12 years.
I don't even know how
I
to
think that's
tap.
one
I
of the
don't even know
things
how
in
to tap into what you're
happiness.
doing, how whatever it is, because Will in the book, it's not tied to. At first, it was tied to the successes, but he started to tap into something else. If I don't, I'm looking at you and I'm Jada. I don't even know how to tap into. It's been so long since I felt happy. I probably reference a childhood. I don't even know how to tap into that joy internally. So everything Rachel said, it's like right online. It's like you're doing this, and I'm still trying to figure out how do I tap into that endorphin that makes me smile and feel good for real, not the fake Hollywood smile, not the fake wife smile, but how do I actually tap into that endorphin that is shooting joy
From
through my
the
body?
actual
I
life.
don't even know how to do that because I've got to be a mother, because I got to be a wife. I'm so bombarded with so many responsibilities. I don't even know how to fit time in to figure that part out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
I
I got
think
the
that's
whole
one
world
of
watching.
yeah.
Got the whole world
Everybody
watching everything you do. I get annoyed by motherfuckers, and I'm just me. I couldn't imagine every time I make a move, every time I blow my nose, a blog site picks it up and got something to say about it.
Yeah. And one of the conversations that need to be had that I hope people gather from this and what we're doing is being honest about what makes you happy. I think a lot of the times people submit to relationships or they're in things that, oh, it looks good on the outside. Like Will and Jada, we was dating for however many years, but then we cut it off this many years and we've been separated. But it looked good for us to show up with the whole family. It looked good for us to be here with the kids and host the dinners and, oh, this is Will and this is Jada, like couple goals that people would say. One of the things that I would challenge people to do is like really challenge yourself to be happy. And the person that you're with, like how they can attribute to your happiness. One of the most important things that Will said in that resurface clips, like you said, Rich, was there's nobody out here in this world that can make you happy other like you gotta start with you. You gotta be that person to be like, nah, I'm gonna do this. This is satisfying to me, it's fulfilling for me. And I'm gonna do this and I'll build off this with other people. You can't bring other people in and be like, well, I hope that this person fulfills me and I hope this person makes me happy. It'll never work.
A lot. You hit a key point, man. So many people aren't honest because it's out the norm, and I think people forget that your happiness is only related to you.
Yeah.
Like don't worry about what anybody else thinks about it. You don't even have to let them in on what makes you happy or your happiness. But a lot of people, we are in the overshare information. I think our generation, we do it for our generation's sake. You know what I mean? Like we know how to. We savvy. We right in the middle of everything. We're not like the generations behind us where it's every single thing. Like you said, it's like we watched dudes set up a tripod to go on a Target run. It didn't promote anything. Just wanted to show us. You know what I'm saying? That
I'm going on the Target run.
Yeah, like this shit was silly to me. Like, what did I gain from that? So that honesty thing, man, if people can tap into that and really, really just keep it a buck about what they want, I think you'll start realizing how easier life goes for you because you only get
It'll
one
be
of
a lot
these,
less.
man.
It'll be a lot less of these gender wars, these online things, and more. Mo, you and I talked about this as far as the man versus woman on social media and whatever it may be. It'll be a lot less of these gender wars that people admit it. Like I'm responsible for making myself happy. It ain't a $200 date. It ain't 54 oysters. It ain't the fucking Cheesecake Factory. I'm responsible for letting people in my life and me being happy myself. It ain't on you. Sure. And I think a lot of the displacement in Black relationships or us is like I'm expecting to find someone that can make me happy. That'll never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that ain't real too. I think
And
people
a
need to
lot of that's
remember
fake.
that. People
It's
just need to
content.
remember that. You know, I know, Mo, you talk about all the time, like controlling your algorithm and what you see and what goes in. Sometimes you see that so much that you think, oh yeah, man, fuck them niggas. Fuck her. It's not even like that. That energy ain't even out here when you go out.
Yeah.
It's in certain areas and then it spreads like wildfire. So yeah.
Point.
Big facts.
Good point. That was good. I like that. All right, Mo, we got chapter 64 of Another Week in the Books. A long time we've been doing this. This is about reconciliation. Now, you and Rich can collaborate about this topic. So I'm going to throw it to both of you guys and ask about the thought process of what we were thinking about when we came up with the topic and the goals that we want to achieve with it.
I'm throwing the oop right to Rich.
All right. So yeah, this won't be crazy long, but I do think it's an important conversation to touch on. Y'all know me. This is my third time on Another Week in the Books. And I shared a story once about diffusing a situation that could have gone left real quick. So I kind of like coming to this, this medium when there's something that happened to me or that's on my mind that I want to just have a good conversation with the brothers and obviously the incredible, lovely Ray P. So I have two older sisters, right? But I only acknowledge one. And when I say acknowledge one, I don't mean like there's any issues or beef. It's just, it's been so long. So when I was about 13, my sister, the sister I'm talking about in question, she's about 9 years older than me. This is my dad's daughter, right? She's about 9 years older than me. And I remember being a kid, growing up with her, remember like going to go get her for breakfast and going with my dad, spending time with her, all types of stuff, man. Just a regular brother-sister relationship, even though there's a gap. And when I was about 12 or 13, it just stopped. It just stopped. Like I just never heard from her, didn't see her, didn't know what happened. Obviously, there must have been some kind of issue, some kind of, falling out between her and Pops, whatever the case may be. I have no idea. Like me and Pops never talked about it. It was just one of those things. It's something that you don't think about, but you think about when you're that age, when you were a teenager and whatnot. And I remember specifically 2009, so I would have been about 22. I was back home. I was living in Toledo, but I was back home in Cincinnati. And I remember talking to my mom, and she was telling me that she saw my sister, and was telling me where she was working. And at the time, she was working at this mall here in Cincinnati called Kentwood. And she said it in passing, but I had kind of gotten this hardened, fuck that, man. That ain't worth my time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm past that, whatever. It is what it is. But there's always that curiosity. And you know what? Why did this shit happen? So I go to the store, and it's just like a movie, man. I go to the back section, and it's just her by herself. So it's just me and her. And I hadn't seen her since I was 12, 13. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, hey, what's up? I'm like, how you doing? How you been? She looked at me like, do I know you? And I instantly was like, just put off. I'm like, oh shit, you got me fucked. Because I'm not even the type that's gonna usually make that first step unless I didn't even want to come in here to begin with. So I got, who do I know you? And mind you, I look just like my pops. I look just like her. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, you trying to be funny.
Okay.
I love Rich, man, because he just like me. He just like
we have a quick little conversation. I told her my
brother,
and when I told her when I told her I'm my brother, she was like, okay, like what's up? Like how you been? Like just very nonchalant, like very. And I was like, oh yeah, just fuck this. So I remember leaving. I remember calling my sister. I remember calling my mom, telling her like, oh yo, you wouldn't believe what happened to me.
Oh, so she's the one you don't acknowledge at that point.
Yeah. Though this is the one I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, when I say don't acknowledge, I don't mean like.
You mean like don't have a relationship?
Talking early in the opening of the conversation where we were talking about how you just act like you don't know people. It's not that. It's just more so you haven't been around for so much of my life now that I forget sometimes that you out there. A lot of, Black families, man, you got a lot of half siblings sometimes out there that you ain't never seen or they there, but just no relationship.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the difference is that I grew up with her. I knew her, like we had a relationship, a real strong one. And that shit always bothered me. So you fast forward all the way till 2020, my pops passed. So mind you, I hadn't spoken to her since 2009 in that little run-in. So I'm the one giving her the news. Still, once again, just kind of no emotions. And like I said, I don't know what's going on. I got so many other things on my mind at that time. I'm not even worried about that. I'm just letting you know, look, Pops passed. Here's the services, here's the arrangement. She comes to the funeral. She don't sit with the fam. She sits in the back with her moms. Just a lot of weird energy. But you know what? Whatever. Didn't talk again since 2020. I run into her at this event that I was at in downtown Cincinnati, probably about a month ago. Randomly just run into it. And it's one of those run-ins where you see the person. Rachel will appreciate this to make an Insecure reference. It's kind of like when Molly was eating at the African restaurant, Issa saw her, and then she bounced on her.
For sure.
It was one of them moments. And I saw her, and she didn't know I saw her. And a split second, I was like, man, I'm about to slide. But I don't know what happened between 2020 and now, or 2009 and now, where I was like, nah, like, Carlin, what's up? Like, talk to her. She said, hey, you know, we just had a regular conversation. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit you up, man. We got to go to lunch, go to dinner or something. I want to take you out and just kind of catch up. And just the idea of understanding, I guess, and realizing that she has a story as well, regardless of what it is and whether I agree or disagree with it, she still has a perspective that I don't have any idea about. I have no idea how she's feeling, what causes her. It could be some nut shit. It could be some nut shit, and I just be like, yo, you wild. Like, I'm really cool with you. But it was more so for myself. I need to start the path of better understanding and just to see if there is something or some kind of relationship that's there to be had. I don't know if it's possible because it's been so long, but the idea of reconciliation, I guess, getting to that point is what fascinated me the most with this, because I don't know why that day I saw her and I said, you know what, not just say hello, I want to take you out. I'm going to give you a call. We really need to sit down and chop it up. I think part of it has to do, whatever she says, I don't want that to be the final statement because my pops isn't here anymore. So if it is some other shit, like, I don't want to, I don't know. And I wanted to ask y'all about your journeys, if you have them. We started out great about the grudges and things like that. Your journeys with reconciliation. If you've ever been in a similar spot to where you had to look at yourself and be like, you know what? For the betterment of my growth, I need to put this to bed, or I need to at least acknowledge it. Mo, I know you talked about it with your father-in-law.
Mo had to take a sip of water.
That'd probably be the perfect place to start, because you tried.
I got quite a few scenarios, bro.
Can't hear you. Mo.
Can you hear me?
Oh, my bad. That's me.
Oh, can everybody else? Okay. I got quite a few scenarios. I can go first, or I can throw it in your court, which I want to do.
Feel free. Start.
Well, y'all already know, like, the father-in-law situation. We've spoke about on 2 episodes. That whole scenario, it still bothers me. I'm at peace as far as I know I did the right thing at the end of the day, acknowledging my faults in it, both of us. But it's just there was no acknowledgement on the other side. And that part bothers me still. Not enough to alter my day-to-day, but enough to say I don't even worry about it. I ain't even reaching out. I don't care what the history was. Because the fact that we come to you with our hand out and you slap it away, we say, I'm sorry. I understand what I did. We was in a different place, whatever it was, however we were being, we were out of pocket. We got you. We didn't never mean to hurt y'all. We were going through our own thing. Y'all got the bad end of the stick, and we do that. And then it's like, okay, we appreciate that. But then it's like when we say, okay, but these are some things that hurt us. And then it's just like, oh no, well that wasn't that. It was just because of this and that. So it's like you're trying to explain to us what you did versus saying, I'm sorry. So our feelings are not valid. My brother, I've spoke about him a little bit sometimes on the show, but he's kind of in and out within drug usage. And so he's very sick, literally. And so when I came home from college, I was gone for 2 years, and I came home from college. And when I came home, my mom and my sister, like, they would call me while I was there, and he was just like acting a donkey. And at that point, I went to college. My parents was married. I came home from college. They was divorced. So everything had changed in 2 years. So my dad wasn't around and my brother was acting wild. So when I got home, 2011, soon as I seen him, like, hey, what's up, Lump? Now I ain't know what's up. My sister had to literally get in between us because I was ready to knock this nigga out. I'm like, nah, bro, you've been talking to mama crazy. You've been talking to our sister crazy. Now I ain't know what's up. And that energy kept on for years. Then we tried to fix it. I let him live with us. And then we end up getting in a fight on Easter. And so then when we got in a fight on Easter, that lasted for years after that. Because he was talking crazy to me in front of my wife and my daughter. And I said, oh no, me and this nigga scrapped in a whole nother neighbor's yard. And I got all white on. I'm all my pants. I had to toss the pants. The grass stain ain't coming out, bro. It's over. Like, we on it. You know what I mean? And we didn't reconcile for years.
This is your blood.
That's my blood. Same mom, same dad, all that. And
y'all got to fighting on Easter.
Got to fighting on Easter, bro. And he was talking so crazy to me. I couldn't let him slide. I was like, just the audacity of you talk to me like that in my, like, bro, you gonna make me go back to cussing. Like, because like it's all coming back. But like, so we got to scrapping. Then of course I put him out, grabbed the stuff, put him out, and that was it. And for years we didn't. Finally, I would say 2021, we had a conversation and he was sober and we were able to reconcile. I did not want to pick up, but he acknowledged all of the things that he really was out of pocket about. And I knew it was genuine. And I was open to it. I had to be vulnerable with him. I said, man, bro, I hate that it ever got that way because we grew up so tight. We had bunk beds. We used to stay up all night talking about girls and all of these different things. That was our reality. We were so tight. It was never no division between us. Like, we always been this way. And I hate how life has spread us apart. But I love you and I miss you. You know what I mean? Because you my brother. You my blood, nigga. Like, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Now, we not as tight now, but that's because his own struggles. And then me and my dad had an issue. When I came home from college and I found out that they had separated. Because when I came home for winter break, freshman year, I never forget this memory. My mama told him, said, Maurice, that's his name as well. Maurice, don't you do it. You better not leave. He's like, oh, Sandy, you tripping. I'll be right back. And it was like Christmas break. I mean, it was the New Year's part of the break. And he ended up leaving and everything. And I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was something wrong because my mom was mad, but she was trying to play it off. And I never forget when he left. Anyway, when I went back to college and came back, they was done. So I knew he was on something that he shouldn't have been on. So when I got home, I wasn't talking to him like that. And he knew what it was. And I wasn't on none of that. Like, and he had to really talk to me and finally acknowledge, like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have never been that way with your mama. I tried to apologize. I'm sorry I did that to y'all because I wasn't going for it, bro. I was just like, you should have never did that. Like, you knew my mama moved all three of us to Kentucky to separate from him because he was just on some, like, I'm gonna keep banging other women. Like, that was just like, he was just on some whole type stuff. So that was his journey, but I don't want to belabor my reconciliation, but we're tight now. We're good. I mean, we are. So we had him on the podcast, so it's like, and we're gonna have him back at a later date. But those are like some of the close ones. I've had ones with friends, but I'll bounce back that after I throw it in y'all court. But like,
well, let me ask a follow up because I got a follow up and I got a question for Spike and Rachel.
Yeah. What
made you open to the reconciliation? Like, with your pops and your brother, what made you even open to it? Like, were you that? Is it something that you knew you needed, or was it you were not even that really upset about it? You just weren't willing to make the first move. Like, would it have always been open if somebody said, "Hey, I'm sorry," and they meant it genuinely?
I don't think I necessarily was always open, and I don't think it was always like, "Oh, it's not that deep." I just think that I loved y'all, and it hurt, but I knew. I said, "Bro, we got so much history here." And that history means something. I just refuse to throw it down the drain. That's why it's so hard with the father-in-law situation. It's like, y'all just gonna throw down the drain because y'all refuse to come off y'all high horse to acknowledge, okay, y'all played a part too. Not as much as we did, but y'all played a part too. And the fact that our feelings don't mean anything is why it is what it is. So don't expect anything. But with them, it was always, I love y'all and we got history. And if you're willing to acknowledge where you were wrong, if I'm wrong, I acknowledge where I'm at, then we can always work it out because I love you. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask y'all three of y'all this then. How do y'all feel about, God forbid, anything happening to prevent that? I've told you once when I was on the pod, just know, one of my biggest things that I missed is all the conversations that were left on the table. Like you don't always know if you have more time to reconcile or to fix things or have a conversation that's long overdue. Like if something were to happen, do you think you tuck it away to the point where it wasn't a big deal, or do you think that would have been something that crushed you, or any of y'all in any similar situation?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Well, it depends again on who it is, but I'll let you answer, Lou, but I have a sister story as well with the reconciliation and all of that. And that's who immediately came to mind when you asked that. My sister and I, well, my parents, she, again, is my dad's daughter. She's 12 years older than me-ish. And she would live with us in the summer. And as a child, I was just enamored with, oh, my sister, my sister, my sister. But again, she's significantly older than me. So once she stopped coming, it was like, okay, yeah, I got a sister, but out of sight, out of mind. And then she didn't live in Ohio. So my line sister ended up going to law school in her city. So I went to visit her. And while I was there, my sister's like, oh, I'll have a barbecue and we'll do this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, well, I'll introduce you to her so she can know somebody up here. I get there and all my sister's friends are like, oh, Rachel, we heard you're so spoiled. Your dad does everything for you. And I'm looking at these bitches like, excuse me? First off, I don't even know y'all. And two, I'm a whole ass adult out of college. Nobody's spoiling me. I'm in North Carolina at this point. I'm not even still living in my parents' house. So nobody is spoiling me. What are you talking about? Like, oh, they do. And I'm looking at my sister like, bitch, what the fuck you done told these people? And
that part.
Up to that point, even though she was sort of out of sight, out of mind, I still had some sort of, I don't really want to say admiration because that's not really it, but I still
respect,
thought highly of her.
Okay,
but
yeah, some reverence.
I'm like,
how old are you at that point? I'm sorry, like you're out of college and she's 12 years older. I'm
25 at this point.
Okay, so she's
I'm now 25. So
okay, 37. Yeah. Okay.
She really might have been older than that.
Older than 37?
Yeah.
Stop, bro.
Stop. Exactly. So I'm like,
you're trying to act like you a young nigga trying to act like those numbers are just outrageous.
Yeah, don't do that. But regardless, too old to be doing that and having that conversation.
Yeah.
To your point, you know.
These were her friends? Like these were like coworkers or something?
No, these are her friends, people I've never met in my life. I had never even been to Minnesota prior. So
possibly she's having a conversation about you with them and you don't have no idea who they are.
I don't know nothing about you. Nothing about your life. I can't even come back and be like, well, actually, no. Well, what about your shit? Bitch, I don't know you. I have nothing to go on. And so immediately after that, I was like, oh no, this isn't my type of bitch. Like, I don't fuck with her. I called my parents like, yo, child, yo, other daughter up here talking all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately was like, I don't fuck with you. And we talked about it on the pre-show about once you cross me in a particular way, I do not fuck with you. And really up until this year, so that's 2012, this happened. Maybe 2013. It might have been the summer of 2013. No, it was summer 2012. So from then until literally my parents' 40th anniversary party, I didn't fuck with this I don't want to keep calling her a bitch because that's my sister. I just,
This girl.
I did not fuck with her. And she would send me Facebook messages. Ignore. Well, you have my phone number. I'm not responding to it. I don't like that. And there were other small things, even if they weren't geared towards me. Now, see, that's that shit. See, that's that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she's my older sister. So she said something at our parents' at our parents' party, like, I wish that we were closer. And I was not immediately receptive, but I'm like, okay, Lord, we keep talking about me being a better person in this life. Like, stop it, Rachel. So we're gonna take a sister trip.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
And I am praying that it
Where y'all
goes.
going? Where y'all going?
Maybe to Bali. That's
hold on. Time out, Rachel.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a jump.
Dog.
That's crazy.
It's nasty.
That's a hell of a jump.
The flight alone.
It's nasty.
Right?
Somebody that you slick don't fuck with is crazy.
So
Yeah.
I'm anxious. I keep trying to drop breadcrumbs about maybe something a little smaller, but
Maybe Bali is crazy.
she's not gonna hear this. This is also part of what I think. Like, she's coming to, we talked about jealousy earlier. She's coming to some money, and I feel or felt like over the years of me not fucking with her, she was doing a lot of little weird shit online trying to be me, or be reminiscent of me. I've been blonde since 2008. You've had jet black hair your whole life. Why are you dying? It's weird. That's my thing.
Yo, that family jealousy is real, bro.
Family jealousy is a real thing.
Boy.
It's a weird thing. I was
Yeah.
traveling for work and was taking pictures. I do have a food blog, but whatever. But I was doing it a lot when I was traveling for work. When she started traveling for work, like, it would be just little things like, what are you doing?
Mr. Me Too.
Mr. Me fucking too. So
Yeah.
I have prayed about it. And my mother is like, Rachel, you don't have to be like that. Like, I know that when you are the child or children who live in the house with the parent, that you don't, that there are feelings and a story that you've told yourself that they had this, that, and the third. It was like this, and you didn't have that because you weren't in the house. And so I know that she has a lot of feelings in regards to that. And I know that she asked to live with us at one point, but nigga, your mama said no, not mine. So it's a very funny little thing, but grudges, reconciliation. I am a grudge holder because I still have a bit of a side eye, but I'm trying, because even though I'm mostly right, I'm not always right. And so I want, if she is really trying to be the big sister, if she is really trying to be that person in my life, or even just have a relationship with me, there's no real reason other than my own discernment that you ain't my kind of nigga, low-key, that we can't at least be cordial, that we can't do things that sisters do. You know what I'm saying? Even though she got 11 other sisters on her mama's side, so candidly. But it's a funny little thing, and I'm working on it, and I have really been in prayer about it, because I have really decided that I don't like this nigga for a decade.
Daddy?
Oh no, I love my daddy.
Oh
My
no,
sister.
you talking about your sister? Gotcha.
Yeah. No, my daddy is my road dog.
My bad.
And again, jealousy, because my daddy is my road dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him my whole life and lived with him until I moved on campus, until I moved out of state. She don't know, because she's not in the house, that how he is with her is just how that nigga is. It ain't no different. I'm just around and force him to do XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that because I live with him. And she
Mm.
takes it personal. Where if you know that nigga Jim, you shouldn't take shit personal that he does or says. Because if you think I'm a don't give a F person, meet that nigga. So,
You have any,
long story short, life is too short not to talk to your siblings unless they really, really do something. Like, did she really do something to me? No, but don't fucking play in my face with your random ass friends.
how'd you get to the point where you were open to taking a trip to Bali versus like, let's have it? Did you guys ever discuss that? Did you ever discuss why you weren't rocking with her? Or you just went cold turkey on her?
You know, I'm a cold turkey ass
I'm
nigga.
about to say, yeah. So how did you get to the, does she know that you feel that?
I don't think so. That
Are
is
you going to have that conversation?
I want to, but I have to really think about my delivery because we are very different. And I know I'll hurt her feelings.
Especially in Bali, man. Shit.
And so I don't want to do that. I was supposed to go up there this month, but had a lot of shit going on. So it didn't quite work out. So maybe I'll try to really, really do that. And she was adamant about wanting me to come and visit her and see her house and all of this stuff. So maybe I'll do that first before.
I think so. I think you should.
We go around the world.
Do that first.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think you should do that first for your.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm open because that is my sister. And I think for her to want to do that, I have a lot of quote unquote sisters and people that I love, and she sees me online embracing and being warm and genuine and this and the third with all these other people. But then you, my whole
with that same type of connection.
She want to be a part of it. She want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm with it.
But sometimes people don't know how to. They don't know how to voice that. Like I don't know how to, especially if I'm the older. I don't know how to, without making me feel less than. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to say, "Hey, sis, I want to be a part of that," without me feeling like I'm being a little bro, kind of. You know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
I get it. I get it.
For sure, and you could feel like that very easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In regards to
Spike, I gotta hear this. Spike, I gotta hear this.
I never experienced that.
You never reconciled with somebody? You never had figuring it out, let's work through it. Okay, we came back together. I'm glad we talked about this. Like you got I know you got a lot of business relationships and then you got some family in Tennessee. Anything? I mean, I feel like,
you know what? As far as reconciliation in my relationships, I don't
really
stone
cold nigga, man. Spike a stone cold nigga.
Like, when is your birthday?
That's why you need people like me.
Sagittarius.
That's why I 6 shot a Scarface meme. You need people like me. Cause bro, not having not one person. So what if they look, do you dirty? You cut them
I'm
off.
I'm a very upfront and direct type of person, man. Like there's not a lot to be left up for confusion as to, oh, I wonder why we're not talking anymore. I wonder why we're not having conversations. Like it's very upfront and clear with me as far as the people that I deal with. So in the sense of having reconciliations, like I had to think long and hard about how I would present this conversation and not seem like I was seem like it wasn't something that registered with me. Go ahead, Mo.
Let me ask you a question because I am going through another week in the books backlog. Mm-hmm. And in one of the earlier chapters, you told a story about somebody you went to school with. That was a real good athlete. He went to play football. Y'all were hooping 2-on-2, and you were just killing this nigga to the point where he swung on you. And you said that that was somebody you hung with every day, and you was salty that ended because you said, at the end of the day, I think y'all dapped it up, but y'all never fucked with each other again after that.
We didn't dap it up. It wasn't never a thing like, we didn't dap it up. It was never a thing that we addressed in the sense of, whatever you did was disrespectful to me, or whatever I said was disrespectful to you, and we handled it like after that confrontation or whenever that happened, he would reach out to me and be like, hey, you know what? I'm getting married, come to the wedding, things of these. Like, I wasn't for it. Like, I could still be cordial with him, but the fact that was the thing that made him swing on me and be like, nah, like, bro, I don't fuck with you. You talking too much shit. I knew I couldn't trust him in the sense of that's my homeboy. Like, all of my homeboys, most of the people that know me, there's a certain line that we can go to and we won't cross. And I'm not saying it in the sense of I expect you to figure me out. I expect you to know me on anything like that, but more so in the sense of here's what I present to you on a daily basis, bro. I ain't gonna register. I ain't gonna waver from that. I'm not gonna do too much like we talking about with the Funny Marco interviews. I'm not gonna do anything that makes you think differently of me, but I do expect you to respect me as to how I'm presenting myself to you. So with him, the conversation that we had was like, even after the swinging on me since in the basketball, since we talked a lot of times after that.
Okay.
Oh man, come to the Ville, man. I'm getting married. And it was cool, but it wasn't never to the sense of like, bro, I fuck with you in the sense of I'll do that and I'll dismiss everything that happened. I ain't never say that to him. I ain't never confront him with that, but it was still, he knew that and I knew that. Like,
that
you know, bro, you went too far.
That might be a good full circle moment for the episode, because if you knew that you didn't say it and he never said it, right, then where's the disconnect as to one person just coming together and having a conversation, even if it still leads to the same result, even if it means I'm still not fucking with your wedding, best of luck to you, but I don't fuck with you like that.
That part, that's where I was gonna go.
But why is the conversation not happening? That's the whole thing that I had to ask myself. Like, why am I not talking to I think a lot of it, and Rachel can relate to this. She the older sibling. Like, I shouldn't be reaching out to you to fix some shit.
I can relate to this.
Maybe I'm wrong for thinking like that.
We're the kids.
But I also am, I'm a 12, 13-year-old kid and you just kind of bounced on me. It's not my responsibility to know what's going on or to be asking these questions. You should be on some, yo, little bro, this was going on, blah, blah, blah.
Bro.
So there's a little bit of that, but I guess ultimately back to what you were saying, Spike, why doesn't that conversation happen? I guess everybody can answer, but
for me,
is it that's so hesitant about it?
It's a slight case of arrogance. I will admit that, because I look at it in the sense of, bro, I'm never gonna do anything disrespectful to you.
Yeah.
If I fuck with you, you my guy. Like, me and you on the same page. We talk on a daily basis. Like, you have the understanding of what's disrespectful to me as a person. I have the understanding to you as to what's disrespectful as a person. Once you go beyond that point, it's hard for me to understand, like, well, why would you do that, bro? Like, I thought that you fucked with me. I thought that we were cool. I thought that we were on the same page. Now you've shown me something that don't really line up to what we had going on. So, like, I don't get it. And I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, well, hey, bro, this offended me, man. Let's talk about this. I'm not going to do that. I'm more so the person that's like, oh, this offended me. I see that you don't really get me as a person, so I'm going to step back. I ain't going to be that nigga that's like, I'm overly extending myself in the sense of I expect more out of you than I would expect out of people who fuck with me, really.
There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to say within that. Somebody can know you very well and still can disrespect you because they didn't know something struck a chord with you, struck a nerve. There, it's not just because Spike, me and you been on here before, and now we've got to know each other. But there's been moments, I imagine, I ain't gonna speak for you. There's been moments you might have said something that it might have struck a chord for me, and even to this point. But
let me ask you this before you go further.
Yeah,
did you take it as disrespectful though? Like, you know me, you know the type of person that I am. You know that I don't think the dude is gonna be on here.
Yeah, I know.
Recording this. Let me be disrespectful tomorrow. Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is disrespect ain't always intentional. That's all.
All right.
So that's when you talk about those relationships with people, sometimes they could disrespect you, but they didn't mean to do that. But if you never say it, it's like, because you be like, oh, bro, I didn't even know I was disrespecting you. When I was talking about this, I wasn't even thinking about your situation. They going all the way in on something, and you think like, oh, so you really just gonna be talking about that like that? And you know I got
do me like that.
You just gonna be, and he ain't even thinking about what you're going through. He might have forgot you told him whatever your scenario is. So I think if you never say that, so that is we do have that struggle in our community. It's definitely like Rachel says, like we don't always just say it. We're expecting you to know, but it's like you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And I think that I connect what Rick said with Rachel. It's like for us, we put the effort in to reconcile with them, but it's like, bro, we set up 3 meetings to try to fix this. But we're the kids. Y'all you know what I mean? But now we're seeing where it is, and it's like you still ain't did anything. So that shows me, okay,
that's
a good point.
I think that's another thing that makes it difficult for me, because if I do, and I think I've told a story on there similar, if I go out of my way to say I'm wrong and it's received coldly,
okay.
And I want to. That's not only going to mess that up. That's going to mess up future events, because I'm going to remember that. Like, look, it is what it is. Because that's part of my personality trait. I can just cut it off, and my emotions will be shut out. I already don't respond the same way emotionally like most people do. I don't respond in that same manner. So it's nothing. I shrug it off, and I might have some deep reflection about it at some point. There's nothing I'm carrying with me. Like whatever.
Me,
like,
my best friend from 3rd grade, my motherfucking dog have had that happen. Not to put too much out. She did something which was a great feat, and I responded in a way that she felt like was shady towards that. And I didn't think that it was. And we went on about the day. Everything was cool. But then like a few hours later, she texted me on some rah-rah, like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, it was real crazy. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And because this is my very, very, very best friend, nigga who knows where every single body is buried, I'm like, whoa, I apologize. Like, I would never, ever, ever want to make you feel some kind of way. That was not my intent with what I said. Like, I wish you would have brought it to me right then. We could have cleared it up versus several hours later on my birthday and you cussing me out. But genuinely, from my heart, I apologize. And it was like, that was some bullshit, but I feel you.
Yeah. So that look, I want to tell y'all 3, because y'all like in the same kind of, I know y'all all are relatively in the same bubble. So before y'all go there, I want to say that I'm not saying necessarily afraid is the word, but I'm going to use afraid. Don't be afraid to be open to give everybody another chance. You know what I mean? Because we all have fell short, and somebody's given us another chance. It was like, dang, bro, they really looked out. So don't be afraid because this person does it. Don't mean this person does it. We can't put everything in the same pot. I try not to do that. I see that a lot of people like, oh, you know what? Because so-and-so did this. You know what? For now on, everybody, you start acting like Mix. You know what? Anybody that ever owed me money, like, bro, you can't be that way, bro. They dead. Like, you cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, because I'm trying to bring us to a landing here, but like anybody that's trying to go through a reconciliation process of like trying to work something out, don't be afraid to be vulnerable, and it don't make you look bad because you tried to apologize or you tried to work it out. You don't look bad. That's actually strength. There's something to acknowledge there. I think it's low key. It's weak to like just, and I'm that person, so I ain't speaking to nobody but myself. It's low key weak to like, I ain't gonna even say nothing. I'm just gonna move on. Like, no, it's strength to say I'm gonna acknowledge it, because that's saying I'm prepared for all of the bullets of uncomfortableness, of vulnerability, of hurtfulness, of anger, of every bullet that can come my way in regardless of addressing this situation. I'm going to take that risk. That's strength. It's easy to walk away and just say, I'm cool. But what's going to happen to any and everybody, you're going to realize, man, I am cutting a lot of people off. And this pattern, there's something wrong here. That's why I had to start looking. I was like, bro, I can't keep cutting everybody off. That's not good.
Yeah.
Then you start just having business relationships. But then when you need somebody to call on, who you call?
Calling, exactly. Well, I'll say that we're trying, even still. We don't talk nearly as much as we did, but it's all love when we see each other. Like when we do actually talk, it's good. But all that every day.
Yeah, sometimes it's lost. Sometimes it is. I've had relationships where it's been like, you know what? When we do talk, it's good, but it's just we've transitioned from that type of relationship. Still my dog, but not in that same way.
Yeah. And I love you, girl.
Sad too.
I think one of the main things from that is understanding what you need from the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I don't need you to bullshit me. I don't need you to tell me where I'm lacking or anything of that nature, but I do need you to keep it honest with me every time we have a conversation.
For sure.
And I think with people like me, people like Rich, sounds like people like you as well, Rachel. It's like, just be honest with me.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the main things with people like us and having conversations and talking through these things is like, be honest with what you expect out of me. That way I can be honest with what you expect from me as well. And we can go down that road. If it's something you don't like, it's cool, but at least you know where I stood in the beginning and what you expected of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the conversations that we need to have amongst ourselves in this community. Like, don't expect too much out of a person. Hey, I'm here with it. Tell me where you at with it, and let's figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Sometimes reconciliation ain't even worth it. Sometimes things have to be what they are.
Great fucking point. Rich.
Sometimes things gotta be what they are.
It ain't even. Sometimes me and you ain't even gotta make up. We just need to understand that. Hey, I don't fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. Cool. You do what you do, and I can do what I do. That's fine. And I think that a lot of times we get caught up in the I need to make every conversation or every situation fruitful to me, and that's not true. That's not the right thing.
I just think that should be the minority, not the majority. That's it.
True.
What y'all saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll say that.
I think when that starts to become the majority of everything I'm doing, I'm always like, man, there ain't no need for this. Then you got to start to really look at some things in your life.
What you doing? What you trying to accomplish? That's true.
Absolutely.
That's a good point, Mo.
I think the best way, and I'll end it with this, the best way is to steal another line from Insecure. There was a moment when Molly was with her therapist, and Molly and Issa were having a falling out, just having that moment in that friendship. Her therapist asked her one simple question: does this relationship still serve you? I think that's a good point to look at with everyone and everything in your life. If there is some of that turmoil, if there is a point where it might need to go to reconciliation, might not, then you want to ask yourself that first. Does this relationship even serve me? Because sometimes
what this do for me? Yeah,
it doesn't have to be reconciliation. Maybe it's just acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that, hey, you know what, this happened. We ain't even got to get too deep in it. I don't fuck, it is what it is. But just to understand in that sense. So I feel what you're saying. It should be in the minority mode. But also make sure everybody's protecting their own energy, because you know how it is. Energy transfers, man. You know how it is when somebody speaks to you, when somebody comes in the room that make you feel a certain way, and it's been going on that way for a long time. Maybe that's a sign to cut ties. But also, if you can have some reconciliation, go for it, man. Be vulnerable.
Any last statements? I'll give everybody the floor before we get out of here. I guess, Rich, we'll roll that as your last statement. Rachel, any last statements you want to give from a personal experience, and any, maybe we got younger people, older people trying to figure it out. What's your last statement towards reconciling?
Okay. Well, one, Rich, I thought you were going to say, do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship? And also,
that's a bar.
To this conversation, maybe not every single scenario, but being in relationship, again, reconciliation is not required, but again, if you feel like the relationship is worth it, then absolutely you should pursue it.
I like it. Spike.
That's a good point. Same thing that Rachel said. I'm an arrogant person. I'm very self-centered. I'm an only child, so a lot of things will go over my head, but how open are you to listening to what another person has to say, and how can that benefit you? That's the biggest thing that I take away from this conversation, and I appreciate you guys for having it with me.
Appreciate you having us, man. This was a blast. Like, honestly.
Yeah. And my last thing before we get out of here, I just say that as challenging as it is when you get into some separation, sometimes they really just meant for that season. That's what I've learned. I thought that this was a lifetime. This was going to be the duration of the movie, but I realized it's like, oh, you're only in the first act or the second act. And it's a hard thing to grasp that you're not meant to be through the whole movie or the whole series. That's a hard thing to grasp because you had all of the traits that fit to go all the way to the end. But you realize when things happen that way and you try to make it work and that ain't what it is, then trying to accept the fact that even though you've tried to reconcile, you served the season it was meant to serve. So I would say any of those relationships that you tried to work out, you tried to fix, reconcile, sometimes you got to chalk it up, and you don't have to even be mad at that person. Just understands like, you know what? I'm not going to dwell on the bad. I'm going to dwell on the good because you served in those moments of the good part of that season. And so that's what I try to more so dwell on. I try not to dwell so much on the negative. So that's what I would say as an ending statement. As we get out of here, Rachel, your account is private, but give it to them anyway. Where can they find you?
Okay, look. This is how you get in. Comment on the Culture Garden on a post.
Okay.
And then say something in general to me, to Rachel or Ray PR. 5 A's R A Y. Okay. And then send me a request from there. I'll check you out. And then let you in.
Verify you can be part of this club.
Yeah, boy. Rich.
Well, you can find me KRich513, but really the Culture Garden podcast, that Instagram page. Also recording the Culture Garden podcast we release every single Thursday. Rachel's a co-host with me as well as School. Rachel's podcast, We Got Y'all. Me and her collaborate on that as well. And we are currently on a break. I think we probably dropping one episode, maybe not before Rap Shit, but definitely November 10th or 11th. I'm sure we'll be having a Rap Shit episode. And Good Earners every single Monday, man. Mafia Mondays with Mo and Spike.
Stop playing, y'all, man. Quit playing. Just get on there, bro. What y'all doing? We love y'all, man. Just drop.
Hey, man,
just talk. Talk.
We'll figure something out, man. Yeah, hey, we'll do that when you drop roll. Drop roll and we'll drop our shit.
There's a business. There's a business. There's a difference. I got to do certain things. The copyrights. Nah, but I dig it. Spike, where can they find you? What you got going on?
Same thing, man. On Deck TV every Wednesday. On Deck, DeadEnd Sports every Monday. Loki reviews as far as the new series that just started for Loki. And of course, Another Week in the Books and Good Earners.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have so many shows.
Yeah, he's a busy body.
You about to be there too, right? For you watch.
Yeah, yep, for sure. And like he said, y'all be on the lookout for Roll. Like I said, it's gonna be an audio book, 8 chapters. I'm still working it out. It's really the recording part of it. Everything's written, the concept is there, all of that. It's just the recording part. I need I need to be in a certain environment so I can give it up like I need to give it up for the show. And that's probably the biggest challenge. But y'all go stream them first 3 seasons for free. It's another episode, Another Week in the Books.
And then go buy the audio book.
Yes.
Make sure y'all tap in and support Mo and do what needs to be done for the Roll podcast. Go buy the audio book. Everybody that's listening, it don't matter what the price is. Buy it.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate y'all. AWITB2022@gmail.com. Another Week in the Books on Instagram. The phone number will be in the description if y'all want to send a voicemail or y'all got a theme y'all want us to talk about by any means. Ray P, before we get out of here, can we ask you at a later date, will you be willing to come back to the book club?
Yeah.
Okay, we appreciate you. All right. Well, this is it. This is another Week in the Books.